Our film opens with former K-pop star Doona dreams of the stage one last time, only to watch herself sink beneath dark waters, as if saying goodbye forever. Startled awake, she crosses paths with shy college freshman Won-jun, who moves into her shared house in Seoul. She's cold and standoffish, but their worlds keep colliding, on rooftops, in the snow, over bitter arguments and reluctant acts of kindness. As Won-jun struggles to survive on tutoring gigs and Doona drifts through her days in hiding, tension simmers between them. She mocks him, follows him, warns him not to fall for her, yet begins to depend on him. By the time she calls him part of her destiny, it's clear. Neither can escape the pull of the other, no matter how different their lives once were. Once a glittering idol, Doona's career ended mid-performance when panic consumed her and she collapsed, the stage lights dissolving into the sensation of drowning. Now, she hides away in a co-ed house with 3 men, one of them being the earnest college freshman Won-jun, still trying to figure her out. While Won-jun starts a new part-time job alongside his high school crush Jin-ju, Doona drifts through her days, dodging calls from her mother and a mysterious man who warns her to stay low profile. A chance encounter at a student party turns dangerous when thugs harass Won-jun, until Doona steps in, her temper almost erupting into violence. That night, Doona and Jin-ju share drinks, jealous glances, and an almost kiss between Doona and Won-jun that lingers in the air. The next days bring misunderstandings, flare-ups, and small, unspoken acts of care, like Won-jun quietly fixing her trash. But when Won-jun asks why she quit music, Doona reveals the crushing weight of her idol life. The pressure, the gossip, the relentless stares that finally broke her. On her birthday, she teases him about lessons in winning Jin-ju's heart, but their playful practice hints at a deeper connection neither will admit. That night, a mysterious gift appears in her room, sending Doona barefoot into the streets, searching for someone she might already be losing. Doona urges Won-jun to stop doubting himself and take a chance with Jin-ju, even promising to be there if things go wrong. But old memories and faded photos stir up his feelings, while Doona faces a more immediate danger, a stalker watching her from the shadows. A bathroom lock mishap forces Won-jun to rescue her, and their guard drops just long enough for shared confessions about absent fathers and the pain of losing people who once stayed. He lightens her mood with games and basketball, but the news of his upcoming date with Jin-ju still cuts deep. The date turns awkward when Jin-ju meets Se-hun, a smooth-talking rival who openly courts her, sending Won-jun's jealousy simmering. Back home, a hoodie, a shared smoke, and subtle glances shift the balance between all 3. Jin-ju begins to notice how much Doona relies on Won-jun, while Se-hun makes his intentions clear. When Doona finally catches her stalker, a boy from the local convenience store, her fury nearly boils over, but Won-jun reins her in. That night, after Jin-ju reveals her plans to leave home, Won-jun returns to find Doona asleep, a bitter message from P on her phone. By morning, they're quietly holding hands on the couch, their bond deepening in ways neither of them fully admits. After a night spent dozing together on the couch, Won-jun can't shake the memory of Doona curled up on his lap. Even at work, she lingers in his mind until she appears at the amusement park, only to be disappointed when he's too busy for lunch. She tries the rides alone but ends up waiting for him, and over dinner they trade pieces of their pasts. Her struggle to find herself after leaving the idol world, his guilt over moving away from his sick sister and aging mother. A fortune cookie warns him of a helpless encounter with an enemy, while hers hints at leaving behind old love for new. The fortunes take on new meaning when Jin-ju mysteriously ends up with Doona's note, and gossip explodes online after a photo of Won-jun and Doona surfaces. She shrugs it off, used to public judgment, but he offers to stand by her in a press conference, leading to playful banter about fake statements and matching outfits. Before long, Yoon-taek lures him to what's supposed to be an emergency, only for Won-jun to walk into a group date with ERA, a childhood frenemy who once tormented him. When a party game pushes them to kiss, ERA tests how long he can pretend not to remember her. The night ends with him escorting a drunk, heartbroken ERA home, just as Yoon-taek accidentally tells Doona about the kiss. Waiting outside with a burnt finger, Doona confronts him about the blind date, the smell of perfume, and why her room's lights don't work. As he treats her burn, she muses that wounds only hurt once you notice them, then asks if that's why she's starting to feel something for him. Her answer comes in a kiss, one that traces back to the night on the bus when she slipped her fortune note into his pocket on purpose. Doona and Won-jun's kiss lingers in the air, but he pulls away, fixes her light in silence, and retreats to his room. The next day, unable to focus, he finds her lounging on his bed with music in her ears. When he insists on keeping things platonic, she brushes it off as a meaningless kiss, though it clearly rattled them both. Meanwhile, Jinju confesses to Se-hun that she likes Won-jun, then cuts ties with her controlling, slut-shaming father and moves out. ERA, freshly evicted from her dorm, moves into Doona's floor, turning the second story into a trio of women that leaves Won-jun frustrated and Doona quietly jealous of Jinju and ERA's shared past. Jinju admits she's ready to tell Won-jun how she feels, and Doona, for the first time, openly claims she wants him too. One night, Doona heads to a club and bonds with a former idol over the scars of fame. Back at the house, Jinju stumbles on a box of Doona's cigarettes in Won-jun's room, misreading the situation. A late-night walk clears the air, with Jinju confessing she once liked him but was afraid because of her father's judgment. Won-jun, while understanding, admits his feelings have faded. When Doona returns with a sleazy ex-idol who turns aggressive, Won-jun defends her, slamming a car door on the man's hand. At the basketball court, their frustration boils over. She admits she went to the club to test her feelings and knows now she likes him. As she turns to leave, he pulls her back and kisses her, reminding her he doesn't kiss friends. His second kiss makes it clear they aren't just friends anymore. Doona and Won-jun's new romance bursts to life with kisses outside their house, but other storylines stir around them. ERA accidentally beats Jung-hoon at his jiu-jitsu club and vows to join, to his dismay. When Won-jun visits his hometown, a late-night drink with Soo-jin leads him down an internet rabbit hole into Doona's past. Her mother's scandal, her lonely childhood with her grandmother, and the public's cruel judgment. Drunk and sentimental, he calls her, opening up about his own grief over losing his father and urging her to live fully. Hours later, he's on the first bus back to Seoul, finding her asleep in his bed and curling up beside her. Their closeness quickly becomes public in the house, sparking curiosity, suspicion, and, for Jinju, quiet heartbreak. ERA hints she might like someone, making Yoon-taek hopeful, but Doona's reunion with her mother turns ugly when old wounds resurface. Accusations, squandered money, and a refusal to understand why she left the stage. Jinju finally confesses her feelings to Won-jun, explaining why she kept silent in the past. He gently rejects her, giving them both closure. Meanwhile, Doona sneaks into Dream Suite's new album launch, unseen by her manager, only to receive a message from P questioning her presence. That night, ERA warns Won-jun not to give too much of himself to Doona without definition. But when Doona calls and invites him on a trip, he goes without hesitation. They visit her late grandmother's home, laugh in the rain on bicycles, and spend the night together, waking to a sunrise wrapped in quiet intimacy. Elsewhere, ERA shifts her attention from Yoon-taek to Jung-hoon, who reluctantly shares lunch with her after a run-in with her ex. Back on the trip, Doona and Won-jun stroll hand in hand, until they spot a waiting man. She drops his hand instantly, pulling away when he tries again. In a flashback, a young Doona calls Park In-wook of MSA, declaring she wants to be an idol. We watch her plucked from the roadside into the high-pressure world of training, where a mysterious man once helped her after an injury. While Won-jun stays behind at her grandmother's house, waiting for her to return that doesn't come. In the car, Doona finally confronts Park for abandoning her. She recounts the pain of unanswered calls and being left alone, but Park fires back. Her career is slipping, and she needs him if she doesn't want to be forgotten. When he refuses to stop the car, she leaps out, injuring her leg. At the hospital, Park needles her with accusations. She's a victim in her own mind, selfish, and the one who ruined everything. His words cut deep, Won-jun's calls go unanswered. Hurt and confused about Park's role in her life, he eventually leaves for home, drinking away his frustration with Soo-jin, who casually remarks that celebrities usually date other celebrities. Back at her grandma's house, Doona finds 15 missed calls from Won-jun and drifts into memories of meeting Park for the first time, when he promised to be like family if she followed his lead. Elsewhere, Young-hoon can't shake thoughts of ERA. She calls him to help with clothing fittings, but it's a setup. He ends up rescuing her from a pushy ex, even making the guy repay what he owed her. When Young-hoon calls ERA his girl, she lights up, and they share lunch. Won-jun returns to the dorm to find Doona waiting. Their reunion turns tense. He demands to know where they stand, accusing her of having no real feelings for him. Before she can answer, ERA and Young-hoon interrupt, and Won-jun storms off, telling Yoon-taek he's moving out. In a flashback, we learn Park once pulled Doona from Dream Suite after she fainted on stage, the group continuing with only 4 members. In the present, she meets one of them to make peace. The member harbors no resentment, only wishing things had ended differently. Jinju also visits Won-jun to collect her things. She admits she's still hurt but sees that Doona changes him for the better. She hopes someday they can all be friends. Later, Doona barges into Won-jun's room after hearing about his plan to move out. When he pushes her away, she hugs him tight. Jealousy flares. He accuses her of smelling like Park's cigarettes. She insists she's quit, reminds him she wants only him, and finally admits she takes things for granted until they're gone. She asks for forgiveness. Won-jun calls her selfish but confesses he still likes her. When she tearfully says she loves him, they kiss, tumbling into bed together. He admits he can't hate her, and she's relieved they've made up. Won-jun and Doona are in their thriving era, glowing in the honeymoon stage. They stroll hand in hand, buy matching rings, attend concerts together. Everything feels perfect. Meanwhile, Yoon-taek finally has his romantic reality check. ERA's heart belongs to Young-hoon. One drunken night out with friends ends with Young-hoon swooping in to take care of her, and ERA makes her move. He admits he likes her too, sealing it with a kiss. But for Doona, the concert they attended sparks an ache she can't ignore. Being invited on stage reignites her love for performing. Won-jun notices the shift and promises to support her. He even says he wants to hear her sing. Doona tries to explain the weight of a comeback and how it could change their relationship, but he remains hopeful, convinced they can make it work. As days pass, her longing grows. She watches old performance videos, while Won-jun focuses on family as his sister's surgery approaches. In his absence, a letter arrives. Her old label is suing her for breach of contract. She confronts Park, who says President Ma is out for revenge. His solution: come back to the stage before they smear her name, but it will mean ending things with Won-jun. Shaken, Doona visits Jinju for comfort. In a flashback, we see Jinju's father being cruel to Doona over the phone, deepening their bond. Doona won't explain what's wrong, but Jinju simply hugs her. When Won-jun returns, he notices sleeping pills on her table and Park's cigarette brand in the trash. Confronting Park only earns him a harsh dose of reality. Won-jun still has school, military service, and no means to support Doona through a comeback. Park warns their relationship won't survive, and maybe shouldn't. Later, Doona meets with Park and President Ma, negotiating full creative control over her music. Park even shows her a new apartment and offers to handle her move. She hesitates at the thought of breaking Won-jun's heart, but says she'll try, telling herself it's for her own happiness. Park advises her to cut contact with everyone from her current life, without revealing his talk with Won-jun. In a flashback, we see Won-jun's silent realization. The moment Doona stepped on stage at that concert, their world began to change. The next scene opens with a charged silence. Won-jun and Doona locking eyes, the air thick with unspoken words. That night, he lies awake, replaying their conversation about her return to music and the sting of Park's warning. Doona's solo career launches, while Won-jun quietly packs up and moves out. He still sends her messages on her old number, little updates about his life, but months pass and contact fades as they each slip into separate worlds. One night, Doona sneaks away from her new life to see him. She explains she lost her old phone, that's why she never answered his calls, and promises that once she's established, no one will care about her dating life. She's convinced they can last if they hold on. Won-jun can't share her faith. Military service, the future, the reality of her career. It all makes him believe they can't work. His decision shatters her. Doona accuses him of pushing her to return to music, swearing he'd stay by her side, only to abandon her like everyone else. She boards a train, leaving him in tears. Life moves on. Doona thrives in the spotlight. Won-jun finishes his service, graduates, and starts working. ERA and Young-hoon are happily together. Jin-ju moves to Brazil and stays friends with Doona. Yoon-taek reinvents himself as a self-styled love coach. But despite the years, neither Doona nor Won-jun truly forgets. One night, the old housemates reunite to say goodbye to their shared home. Later, Won-jun returns for a forgotten jacket and finds Doona there. They end up sharing drinks. He's polite but distant, refusing to even listen to her music. She leaves heartbroken, but the hurt drives her to confront him at his apartment. She demands an apology for giving up on her. He holds the wall for as long as he can before breaking, admitting he was wrong to let her go. At her urging, he says the words. He regrets it. She refuses to leave, and they collapse into a tearful hug, confessing how much they've missed each other. The ending is deliberately unresolved. The next day, Won-jun nails a big interview while Doona continues her career. In Japan, they almost cross paths, close enough to remind us that some connections never fade, even if we never learn if they truly found their way back to each other.